Now, it's crazy how different Islam was a few hundred years ago, and it was full of warmth, creativity, and spoke the language of love. And people used to talk about Allah the way lovers talk about each other. Now, a lot of Muslims we have nowadays, they follow the rules perfectly, but they still feel extremely disconnected from love, from Allah. And that shift didn't happen by accident. It was built by politics and fear. Now, I want us to start off with Ibn Arabi, rahimullah, the man that people called Sheikh al-Akbar, which means the greatest master. And he lived in Muslim Spain in the 1100s, and his ideas shaped whole civilizations. Now, what he said is the word Muslim doesn't mean someone who follows the rules. It means a heart that truly surrenders to reality itself. So, according to Ibn Arabi, that was considered one of the greatest scholars, to be a Muslim, in his view, is to be in harmony with truth, wherever you find it, and with love. He wrote that every form of worship, every path of love is a mirror through which God looks at himself. Now, what he was describing was ultimate unity. He was showing compassion and understanding for all faiths throughout the world. Now, and understanding how they are all interlinked with each other. Now, Ibn Arabi's ideas touch Ottoman law, Persian poetry, and even designs of mosques. Love wasn't a side topic, it was the center of theology. Now you jump to the 1700s in Central Arabia. Muhammad ibn Abdul al-Wahhab, that claimed that Muslims had become corrupt because they loved, quote unquote, too much, or they were too much occupied in poetry. And he joined forces with Muhammad ibn Saud, that was a tribal ruler, and together they built a state by calling whole Muslim towns unbelievers, and essentially called takfir on them, and started to attack them. Now, historians like Madawi al-Rashid and David Cummins describe how villages were destroyed and Muslims were killed. And you also have shrines and books and art that was burned. And this was essentially war inside of Islam itself. Now, rather than teaching that every heart is a mirror of Allah, they taught that most hearts were filthy with innovation. Bidah. That's where the culture of love turned into a culture of fear. Now, a century later, the oil money was discovered. Now, you got that oil money. And suddenly you have the same ideology that had unlimited cash. And if you know anything about Arab money, you know Arab money stretches far. Now you have billions that went into spreading faith-based Islam worldwide. You have mosques, schools, and scholarships, and even free books. The message stayed the same: obedience over intimacy, rules over reflection, and fear over love. So everywhere from Cairo to Jakarta, a single hard version of Islam sounded like the only correct version. That's also why